The unspeakable concern. Are you experiencing this too? Grandpa smells funny. These innocent words from his 7-year-old granddaughter left a deep wound in 70-year-old Robert's heart. From that day forward, Robert began avoiding sitting close to his granddaughter and even started reluctant to go outside. Have you ever noticed people turning their heads away in elevators? Have you experienced empty seats next to you on the bus that nobody wants to take? Have you ever felt that your family members don't come as close to you as they used to? The distinctive odor that comes with aging. We call it elderly odor, or old person smell. But is it really inevitable that we develop an odor as we age? What exactly is this smell, and is there truly no way to solve it? Today, we're going to face this sensitive issue that many elderly people suffer with in silence. Rather than turning away in embarrassment or shame, let's approach this scientifically and find realistic solutions. Listen to today's story to the end. It could completely change the rest of your life. To continue receiving more health secrets, please hit the subscribe button now. Your one click is a great help in creating this video. Please share it with your loved ones. The scientific identity of elderly odor. Nonenal, the small molecule with a big impact. In 2001, a Japanese chemical research institute made a remarkable discovery. They found that starting around age 40, human skin begins secreting a special chemical compound called Nonenal. This nonenal was the main culprit behind what we call elderly odor. Nonenal is an aldehyde compound, created when the unsaturated fatty acid palmitoleic acid becomes oxidized. Simply put, it's an odor component that forms when the oils in our skin meet oxygen in the air and deteriorate. This smell has a distinctive scent reminiscent of old oil or candles. Why do we develop odors as we age? Why didn't we have this smell when we were young? The secret lies in the changes our bodies undergo. First, our skin's antioxidant capacity decreases with age. When we were young, antioxidant components, like vitamin C and vitamin E, were abundant enough to prevent fatty acid oxidation. But as we age, this protective barrier weakens. Second, hormonal changes play a role. The decrease in testosterone in men and estrogen in women changes sebaceous gland activity, promoting odor generation. Third, metabolic slowdown occurs. When we were young, rapid cell regeneration quickly removed odor components. But this purification process slows down as we age. Stories of people suffering from this issue. Margaret's tears. This is the story of 73-year-old Margaret from Manhattan, New York. Margaret, who had lived a clean life all her days, began to feel that her daughter-in-law was avoiding her. My daughter-in-law doesn't sit close to me like she used to. Even my grandchildren seem reluctant to hug Grandma. Initially, she thought it was simply a generational difference. But one day she accidentally overheard a conversation between her daughter-in-law and daughter in the bathroom. "Mom, the children are struggling with Grandma's smell. How should we bring this up with her?" At that moment, Margaret realized the shocking truth that her very existence was becoming a burden to her family. That night, Margaret cried alone for a long time. The retiree who gave up social activities. David, 65, who worked for a Fortune 500 company for 30 years, wanted to participate in community volunteer work after retirement. However, the shock he received at his first volunteer activity drove him back inside his home. During the volunteer work, he noticed young volunteers making gestures to cover their noses around him. Also, during lunchtime, he repeatedly found himself eating alone, with no one wanting to sit with him. "I didn't realize when I was young, but I do have this smell. I don't want to be someone who causes discomfort to others, so I just stay home now." David eventually gave up all social activities and stayed home. His once active personality gradually became depressed, and he even developed social anxiety. The struggles of using public transportation. William, 68, from Boston, needs to use the subway daily to receive dialysis treatment at the hospital. However, his experiences on the subway have become a daily source of pain. "When I get on the subway, people vacate their seats. At first, I thought they were giving up their seats for an elderly person, but I realized they were avoiding me because of the smell." The situation becomes even more serious during summer. Even when standing near air conditioning vents, William felt deep self-loathing watching people continuously move away. "I have no choice but to use public transportation because of dialysis, but I feel sorry and ashamed that I seem to be bothering other people every time." Situations that worsen the odor. Relationship with health conditions. Elderly odor isn't just a matter of age alone. Various health conditions can make the smell worse. People with diabetes may develop a sweet, yet sour smell from ketone bodies when blood sugar isn't well controlled. Those with decreased kidney function may have an ammonia-like smell, and when liver function declines, a fishy odor similar to fish may occur. Impact of lifestyle habits. Smoking and drinking also worsen elderly odor. Nicotine and tar components from cigarettes accumulate in the skin, creating distinctive odors, and alcohol creates acetaldehyde, a smelly component when broken down by the liver. Additionally, frequently eating greasy foods increases sebum secretion, promoting nonenal production. Particularly, excessive consumption of meat or fried foods can make the smell stronger. Seasonal and environmental effects. The odor becomes more severe in hot, humid summer environments. More nonenal is secreted with sweat, and high temperatures make odor. Molecules move more actively. In enclosed spaces, odors concentrate and feel stronger. This is why elderly odor feels more prominent in elevators or sealed vehicle interiors. Scientific approaches to odor solutions. Blocking the source with antioxidants. The most effective method is preventing fatty acid oxidation, which is the root cause of nonenal production. Consuming sufficient antioxidant components like vitamin C, vitamin E, and coenzyme Q10 can significantly reduce odor generation. In fact, a Japanese study showed that a group taking 1,000 mg of vitamin C daily for 3 months had an average 40% reduction in nonenal concentration. Proper cleansing methods. Regular soap cannot completely remove nonenal. Since nonenal is fat-soluble, cleansing agents that effectively remove oils must be used. However, using overly strong cleansing agents can remove the skin's protective barrier, potentially causing even more oil secretion. Therefore, it's best to use mildly acidic cleansing agents with a pH of about 5.5. Additionally, the neck, behind the ears, underarms, and chest area are particularly high in nonenal secretion, so these areas should be cleaned with special attention. Practical odor removal methods. Clothing and bedding management. Nonenal easily penetrates clothing and bedding. It adheres better to natural fibers like cotton or linen than to synthetic fibers. When washing clothes, use warm water above 40 C, 104 F, and using oxygen bleach together is effective for nonenal removal. Adding baking soda during washing also helps remove odors. Bedding should be changed at least once a week, and mattresses and pillows should be regularly aired in sunlight. Improving space environment. The home environment is also important. Using air purifiers or frequent ventilation is necessary. Particularly, bedrooms are spaces where nonenal accumulates overnight, so sufficient morning ventilation is needed. Using charcoal or dehumidifiers is also a good method. Charcoal acts as a natural deodorizer and reduces odor generation through humidity control. Improvement through dietary control. It's important to reduce greasy foods and increase foods rich in antioxidants. Antioxidant components in blueberries, tomatoes, green tea, and nuts help suppress nonenal production. Adequate water intake is also important. Drinking 1.5 to 2 L of water daily helps smooth waste elimination from the body, helping reduce odors. Successful improvement cases. Margaret's transformation. Margaret, mentioned earlier, began systematic improvement efforts after having an honest conversation with her daughter-in-law. First, she visited a dermatologist for professional consultation. Following the doctor's advice, she started taking antioxidant supplements and switched from the strong soap she had been using to a mildly acidic cleanser. She also significantly improved her diet. She reduced greasy foods and switched to a fruit and vegetable-centered diet. She particularly drank 3 cups of green tea daily and consumed tomatoes and blueberries every day. After 3 months, amazing changes occurred. Her daughter-in-law began sitting close to her like before, and her grandchildren began comfortably hugging grandma again. I was skeptical at first, but it really worked. Most importantly, I'm so happy that my relationships with family have improved again. David's return to society. David, who had given up social activities, also succeeded in improvement with professional help. He particularly focused on improving metabolism through exercise. He took 1-hour walks every morning and started swimming 3 times a week. Through exercise, his metabolism became more active, and waste elimination from his body became smoother. He also practiced quitting smoking and drinking. Quitting cigarettes after 40 years wasn't easy, but he could endure it for odor improvement. After 6 months, David was able to participate in volunteer activities again. Now he naturally mingles with young volunteers and enjoys a pleasant retirement. William's public transportation use. William, who had to use public transportation daily for dialysis, developed special management methods. Before going to the hospital each time, he takes a thorough shower and applies body lotion containing antioxidant components. He also started wearing special clothing with odor-absorbing functions. Most importantly, he regained his confidence. With odor improvement efforts and maintaining a confident posture, people's reactions around him changed too. Of course, it's not completely gone, but people don't avoid me as much as before. Most importantly, I've become more confident. The need for social awareness improvement. The elderly odor problem has limitations with individual efforts alone. Improvement of society's overall awareness is also needed. First, we need to understand that this is a natural part of the aging process. Instead of unconditionally avoiding or being repulsed by elderly people, it's important to find solutions together. Etiquette in public transportation and public spaces is also necessary. Elderly people should care about personal management, with consideration for others, while younger generations should also have understanding and considerate hearts. Conclusion. Aging with dignity. Elderly odor is no longer an inevitable fate. With systematic management based on scientific understanding, this is a problem that can be sufficiently improved. The most important thing is not to hide or be ashamed of this problem. We need to acknowledge it confidently and actively seek solutions. Growing old is not something to be ashamed of. We just need to adapt our management methods to our changing bodies. Like the people introduced earlier, anyone can spend their later years with dignity and confidence if they consistently manage themselves with the right methods. The important thing is not giving up and having warm, understanding and consideration from family and society. Elderly odor. Please don't leave this as a concern you face alone anymore. When scientific solutions meet warm humanity, this problem can definitely be overcome. Thank you for watching this video. Please hit the subscribe button